What if I told you that sometimes, the most meaningful royal moments unfold not in the glare of the world's cameras, but in the stillness of an ordinary dawn? Imagine this, a royal birthday, one that could have called for all the pageantry and spectacle the monarchy can muster, yet instead it arrived with almost reverential quiet. There were no trumpets at Windsor this morning, no grand processions along the gravel drives, not even a hint of the dazzling royal banners fluttering in the breeze. Instead, as the first light crept across the old stone walls, only a gentle wind stirred the branches, the soft hush of leaves whispering over the palace grounds. It felt less like a celebration, and more like a moment stolen for contemplation. Why did the day begin this way? What secret currents ran beneath the calm surface of royal routine? And why, on this of all mornings, did the heart of the royal family beat so quietly? This wasn't just another day marked on the royal calendar, this was a turning point. A quiet milestone for Princess Anne, the only daughter of Queen Elizabeth II, the sister of the reigning king, and one of the most resolute guardians of the House of Windsor. Over decades, Anne has earned a reputation for her unshakable sense of duty. She is the backbone of the monarchy, rarely in the spotlight, but always present, always working. And now, on her 75th birthday, as her own legacy comes sharply into focus, Anne makes an extraordinary choice, to turn away from personal celebration and direct all attention, not to herself, but to service. She requests that, instead of lavish parties and exclusive dinners, her milestone year be dedicated to charity, to the people so often overlooked, to the causes that have shaped her life. Buckingham Palace, the great symbol of regal power, opened its doors this morning not to the privileged elite, but to volunteers, nurses, community leaders, and the quiet heroes of everyday Britain. There was a hum of anticipation, yes, but it was tempered by the humility of those gathered. Yet even in this rarefied company, one arrival drew every eye, every curious whisper: Princess Katherine. Katherine's entrance was almost ethereal in its simplicity. She arrived early, unaccompanied by fanfare, a bouquet of pale garden roses cradled in her arms. No one announced her, she needed no grand introduction. She walked with gentle determination, her steps echoing down the long, polished corridors of Buckingham Palace. For a moment, the pageantry of the monarchy faded into the background, replaced by something infinitely more real, the silent understanding shared between two women who have carried the weight of royal expectation in very different ways. Anne and Katherine met not with the stiff handshake of formal protocol, but with a quiet embrace. It was the kind of hug shared by friends who have weathered the same storms, who recognize in each other the same hard-won strength and the same well-hidden vulnerability. For years, Anne has been the indomitable force, the royal who refuses to be swayed by gossip or spectacle, who upholds tradition like armor, who keeps her feelings close. In contrast, Katherine brings a unique lightness to royal life, a warmth and gentleness that seems to soften even the hardest edges of palace life. But today, those differences only highlighted the depth of their mutual respect. There's an old story, quietly repeated by palace insiders, that Anne once confided to a trusted aide: there's a part of me in Katherine. And a part of our mother, too. Today, in the way Anne looked at Katherine, not as the Duchess of Cambridge, nor as the Princess of Wales, but as a woman who has stood unflinching in the face of unimaginable pressure, those words took on new life. Katherine may not have been born into royalty, but she has become, almost against the odds, one of its most essential anchors. Inside the palace, the atmosphere felt nothing like the distant, intimidating formality of past royal events. It was intimate, even cozy, tea was poured, and homemade biscuits were passed around on delicate china. The conversation between Anne and Katherine drifted away from official duties or titles, and instead lingered on family, the relentless passage of time, and the complex challenge of carrying forward the crown's legacy without sacrificing one's true self. For once, these weren't words chosen by palace aides or polished by PR strategists. There were no scripts, no rehearsed speeches. Just honest voices, tinged with the wisdom and weariness of those who have lived through both glory and heartbreak. Anne herself was the first to break the gentle tension of the morning. Dressed in an understated sand-colored suit, she moved through the ballroom with the unpretentious grace that has become her signature. After a brief welcome from her private secretary, Colonel John Boyd, who couldn't resist teasing, "I'm not here by my own choice," and offered her own dry wit, saying, "We're lucky His Majesty has allowed us to use Buckingham Palace for this evening. And let's be honest, having Katherine here makes everything run smoother." The room erupted in soft laughter, the kind that eases nerves and bridges the gap between royalty and ordinary folk. Katherine's response was true to form. She spoke not in lofty, ceremonial phrases, but from the heart, her words gentle, genuine, and touched with the empathy that has defined her public life. It was the sort of moment Anne has always valued most: authenticity over artifice, substance over show. The entire gathering, for a brief moment, felt less like a royal occasion and more like a family reunion, one where history, legacy, and love are quietly intertwined. It is impossible, on such a morning, not to feel the presence of Queen Elizabeth II. Even though she is gone, her influence lingers like a gentle shadow over her family. In her final years, Elizabeth often wrote deeply personal notes to Anne, reflections on duty, hope, and the future of the monarchy. One of those notes, which Anne privately shared with Katherine not long after the Queen's passing, remains etched in both women's memories. "Katherine has the mind of a queen and the heart of one too," Elizabeth had written. "She doesn't seek the crown, she supports it. And in that, she may yet save it." Those words, quietly powerful, have become a secret touchstone for both Anne and Katherine as they chart the uncertain path forward. Why, you may wonder, did Anne choose to forego the trappings of royal celebration on such a significant birthday? Why invite ordinary volunteers and caregivers in place of nobility and foreign dignitaries? The answer, perhaps, is that the monarchy itself is changing. The old certainties are fading. What remains is the need for authenticity, humility, and above all, real connection. By sharing her birthday with those who give so much and receive so little recognition, Anne sends a quiet message to the nation and the world: service is not just an obligation, it is an honor. Katherine, in her unwavering support and gentle presence, echoes that sentiment in every gesture. As the day unfolded, it was the smallest details that revealed the most. Anne insisted on pouring her own tea and serving biscuits to the guests, laughing at old stories and listening with genuine interest to tales of struggle and triumph. Katherine, never one to stand apart, brought not just flowers, but home-baked treats for the volunteers, a modest act that spoke volumes about the values she brings to the royal family. Together, Anne and Katherine offered a vision of royalty that is both rooted in tradition and open to change. Long after the guests had gone and the palace returned to its stately quiet, the impact of that morning lingered. It was not just another royal event. It was a signal, perhaps a turning point, in the evolution of the monarchy. No longer a fortress behind gilded gates, the royal family is reaching outward, seeking to reflect the hopes, fears, and dreams of the people it serves. The warmth between Anne and Katherine, the humility of their gestures, and the sincerity of their words, all point to a new era, one where empathy matters more than etiquette, and where the quiet power of kindness can shape history as surely as any crown. And so, dear viewer, we are left with a question: can these subtle acts, these simple moments of humanity, truly change the course of an ancient institution? Does the future of the British monarchy rest not in pageantry, but in compassion and humility? Or are we merely witnessing a fleeting moment before the old ways return? Let us know what you think. Can real change come from within, one cup of tea and one act of kindness at a time? Share your thoughts in the comments below, your voice matters here, too. And if these stories touch your heart, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. There are countless more royal stories waiting to be told, Stories that reach beyond the headlines to reveal the true, beating heart of Britain's most famous family. Stay with us, there is so much more to come.